This is everything I did to prep for my vendor market and what I will never do again.
This past weekend, I did something exciting for my brand, my first vendor market. Here's what I did right, here's what I did wrong, and here is what I would do completely different for next time. Hey, what's up? I'm Jen. I'm the owner of Earth Girl. Today, I'm going to be kind of talking about my vendor market. I just had one this past weekend, and I really wanted to document the process and also talk about things that some advice that maybe someone else could benefit from, and also just some advice for me to reflect on.
Hey, happy Saturday. Let me see. It is March 6th. I mean, no, March 8th. Um, I just wanted to film what I have going on now that it's actually March and the vendor market is like approaching. I am on grind time for getting everything done for the vendor market. I'm gonna kind of vlog what I have going on today. I have been doing a horrible, horrible week of vlogging throughout the week, so I'm gonna really try to do better this upcoming week and the weeks following that because yeah, I really want to be able to document this. So yeah, I my room is a mess. So I'm gonna have to clean that, but I have to go get some groceries first. I have to just do like some random errands. I'm gonna do that as well.
Okay, I've been crocheting for like about an hour. I did record a little bit for a reel that I am working on. I'm not used to making content, like I think I mentioned this before, but I'm like not used to making anything like this, so it's very new for me. It's very like out of my comfort zone, but it's also so fun. Like I'm having a great time like making all this stuff, like vlogging. I'm having a fun time like making content. So I'm definitely liking it. I wanted to show that I finished the top that I was working on. I'm really glad I ended up sticking to the striped color theme because it actually came out super duper cute. It looks really pretty in person, and I think that this like kind of stands out. It's gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna still have to add the strap in the middle. I have to add a strap like right here so that it can tie up, but that is all I have to do, and then just weave in this little string. Hi guys, so I am back from work. It is a little bit after 4:30. I kind of got home, just said hi to my cats, just sat down, really changed into my PJs. I wanted to show you the progress that I have so far on this top. Show you. This is kind of looking like a bralette top right now. Like this could really easily be just a bralette top. Also really need to edit a reel. I'm trying to post more consistently on Instagram, and that's one of the things that I really need to work on. So I'm trying to be better about posting on socials. So I definitely want to get something posted out this week because I didn't post anything last week. So I need to make sure I get that done. Preferably by Wednesday. Wednesday is my goal to have at least a reel posted, and then maybe the new YouTube video can be posted by the latest Friday, Saturday. That's just a realistic timeline because editing is still a priority of mine, and getting the content posted is a big priority of mine, but I need to make sure I have the outfits made. Like you can't be making content if your outfits ain't made, So I need to make sure I am working on that. I also found some more markets to apply for. I've been like on the hunt for some markets, so I am definitely going to be doing some research on that and applying for those. What's up? It's Friday afternoon. I just got home from work. I am tired. I am just reflecting. I have been reflecting all day at work. I've just been like in this kind of a little bit of a weird mood. I think it's because I'm in my luteal phase, or I'm like moving into my luteal phase, and that is just something that like I have to work through. But I just want to kind of check in and like let you know how I'm feeling, how the week has been, some of the things I feel like I want to work on. I'm just feeling tired. I'm feeling a little bit like overwhelmed. I feel like I just need to really sit down and like plan a whole bunch of things out and really like strategize how I'm gonna make certain things happen, certain moves, how I'm gonna make shit shake, you know? So I am just trying to get that figured out. I'm gonna crochet right now just to kind of de-stress my mind a little bit. That always helps calm me down. So I'm gonna just change. I'm gonna crochet for a little bit and I will check in with you a little bit later. And maybe tomorrow when I'm in a better like headspace, I think that's what I'm going to do. Just because I don't know, I don't want to be filming if I'm not feeling it, you know. I'm not super, not that I'm not feeling it, but I'm not super like, which I mean, like it's real. Like I should, you know, I'm still showing like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I'm just feeling like the weight of the week. So I'm gonna go get some Red Bull. I'm gonna go get something. I have a free Dutch, so I might go pick one up, go get like a Red Bull. I don't really get those, but I might go get a Red Bull, not a Red Bull, get a Red Bull, Dutch drink. So since those are more like summery vibes. So yeah, I'm gonna just crochet and I will check in with you a little bit later.
What's your gut tell you?
Alright, I am finally done with the skirt. I'm low-key really proud because I finished it all in one day. It's like a mini skirt. I have little like holes so you can add the drawstring in it, and then you can tighten it up as much as you want. You can kind of play around with how you tie it up. So that's the part that I really like. This is like my 4th time making this skirt, so it was kind of easy to get through, and it's like just an easy kind of skirt to make. So glad I got that out of the way. So I am done stamping all my papers and I cut all of them out. I'm just punching holes in them. I don't go through all these. Okay. I'm just punching holes through tops and the doing the butterfly first. Then I'll do the little earring holes. Starting off with the positive, let's start talking about the things that I did well, that I would do again, and I'm really glad I did for this first vendor market. Number one, I prepped and I planned pretty well for this one. I took some time to think about what I wanted to make, what I wanted to produce, and like what I felt like would sell well or what would be well received for this market. Another thing I felt that went really well was I really worked as much as possible without burning myself out. One of the things I talked about last time was I would have a really bad time with like pressuring myself to get as much done and like not taking breaks and not taking care of myself and all that stuff. So I didn't do that this time, and I really tried to schedule, and like I really worked on like time blocking and like really actually planning out my production design sessions, when I was going to be planning stuff, when I was going to be working on stuff, when I was going to be doing more like administrative stuff for the brand. That was one thing that I felt like I did pretty well, and I felt like made me feel like a real business owner, so that was really good. um, Let me see. And along with this, I gave myself enough time to work on stuff. I gave myself a month to kind of get some products done. There were some days I could have definitely worked. I could have worked more. There was obviously room for improvement, but for this being my first vendor market, I was really proud of myself for actually like going through and getting all the things that I needed to get done. Hello, sir. I invested the money that I had wisely. I only had a select amount of money to use for my own personal finances. So I decided I was gonna research the things I was gonna buy. For example, I invested in kind of an expensive tent because I knew that I was gonna keep using it for more markets. I definitely could have gotten something cheaper, like from Walmart. But I decided not to because I knew that I wanted to find something that was gonna last me through, like if it was gonna rain or if things went wrong. I wanted to invest in something that would be quality. So that's something I would definitely recommend, is putting some money aside and just like investing in good quality things so that you don't have to repurchase them again in the future. And another thing that I did well that I was really proud of myself for was documenting. As you saw in this whole vlog, I think I did a pretty good job at documenting different production sessions, like my day-to-day life. Obviously I didn't vlog anything up like my 9 to 5 job because that's work, but aside from that, I feel like I did pretty good at documenting and vlogging. Now let's move on to some of the negatives and what went wrong. So when I first signed up for this market, it was kind of like, I think it was at the middle of February. Anyways, I signed up for this market, and when I originally signed up, I saw the flyer saying 12 to 5. Or not the flyer, but I saw the Instagram story and it said the event will be from 12 to 5. So that's what I put in my calendar, and I had just kept going on with that time. And when they asked us to, or when they sent us a message to like set up the setup time and stuff, I was like, why is it so early? Like, it looked a little early to me. I'm like, why is setup time from 8 to 10, I mean, if it doesn't start till 12? So I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then I should have looked into that more. That should have been my first clue. But it literally wasn't until the morning of the vendor market that I'm like, wait, let me see what time I have to be there. And I double checked my messages, and then I saw that the vendor market started at 11. So it was like 9 o'clock. I wasn't there yet, and I was still getting ready. So I'm like, oh my God, like I have to be there already. I'm supposed to already be setting up. Like I should already be there. And yeah, that was like that was the biggest mistake I made, I would say, was I did not double check the time I was supposed to be there. So do not do that. Please make sure you are like double checking the communication. Like, please ensure that you are communicating with the organizers of the event. Make sure that you double check, triple check, write down whatever you need to write down, because it really bit me in the ass. Because of this, because of my like arrival, I got a really bad spot. Basically, what went wrong was I essentially picked a bad spot, and there was not enough people coming all the way around to where I was at to even look at my product. I definitely think that I would have had more sales and more people coming to look at my stuff if I would have just picked a better spot. What I should have done was I should have taken a second to look around and see if I could have found a better spot, because my setup wasn't huge. Like, everyone had the same size setup, so I really didn't need to worry about the spacing because there was plenty of space to move around and stuff. It wasn't like I was going to be cramped in between like two booths. And later on, when I walked up and I like walked around, I'm like, wow, like I really could have been right smack in the center, and I could have gotten some more traction. I could have had more people like walking through my booth. So that was really what was my main concern. Like one of the things is you can't control like people buying stuff. Like you can't control how people approach. You can't control that stuff. But what I could have controlled was where I picked my location and where I set up. And even at some point, I even told myself like, maybe I should take a step and go look. And I didn't. And I was like, no, let me just set up here. Another thing that kind of went wrong, which also wasn't part of my control, which wasn't in my control, I should say, was I ended up, it actually started raining a little bit. So that kind of sucked. But there was still people walking, like there was still people shopping and stuff. So it was fine. Like it wasn't like people were leaving because they didn't want to be in the rain. And it also didn't rain really bad or for very long. So that was something that also was kind of like a bummer. But yeah, next thing. Sorry, I wrote down some notes of things that I need to work on. I also didn't account for how long certain tasks would take. In the vlog, you saw that I was like setting up my like the paper cards where I put my earrings and my jewelry and stuff. I didn't account for how long it would take me to like cut the paper and stamp this and add all the findings to the jewelry and add the backing to the jewelry. Like I really didn't account for how long that stuff would take me. So now that I know, I'm gonna make more time for that in my schedule, because what ended up happening was the 2 nights before the vendor market, I ended up staying up really late because I was like, oh, like let me make sure I get this done, and the things got done, but I could have just made some more time for it and I wouldn't have been doing it last minute. So that was something I definitely will account for next time. One thing I will recommend is maybe, I need to find actually like a website for this, but you can also just do this in your notes. I'm probably just going to do that for now until I find something. One thing I would recommend is tracking all of like the time you spend doing stuff. So like, for example, if you're like sourcing materials, write down how long it takes you to source materials, how long it takes you to make things, how long it takes you to package things, because that way you will know in the future like how long it actually takes you to do stuff, and you will be able to plan effectively like, okay, I have X, Y, and Z amount of time. And then also like you can fit in pockets, like little small tasks into pockets of time throughout your day. Like one of the things that I was doing was in the mornings before work, I would crochet in the mornings before work, because it would be like small little things I could crochet, or like, just finishing up a piece, or just adding like, it would just be like small little things that I could fit in here and there that I felt like helped in the long run, because I would be like, oh, I was really maximizing my time throughout my day. Another thing that I did wrong and that I would completely change for next time was tracking my expenses. I have no idea how much money I spent for this vendor market, and I really should go back and calculate it for my accounting software purposes. But one of the things I really recommend doing is tracking how much money you spend, how much things you're putting in for this vendor market, because then it could also indicate like, is this worth it? Like, is this worth all, like, and it's not just like the money, but you also have to think about like, am I getting out what I'm putting in from this? So I would recommend that. Also, I think just from this one, like, I spent a lot of money, but also like I have to think about it. Like I bought, like I said, my tent, my table, my chairs. Those are things I'm never gonna have to buy again until something breaks. You know what I mean? Like, as of now, I don't really have to buy anything else for the vendor markets besides like decor, like the fun things that you could kind of dress up your booth with, that they're not really essential, but they're nice to have. Another thing that I think I should have done was I should have done some QR codes for my I had the like my Cash App and all that stuff written out, but like it's kind of annoying for people to like write it out, and people can be lazy. Also, like people sometimes can't read your handwriting, so I think it's just easier to use a QR code, because they can just scan it, or they could just they can just scan it, and it's a lot easier for them to be able to pay you, and it just helps the transaction go a little bit smoother. So yeah, that is kind of the little bit of things that I have reflected on. I also was super exhausted the day of the vendor market. Like, I also left early because I was starting to cramp and the weather was bad. So like all these things were kind of just like not lining up, but I still made the most of it. And this is the most important thing. Like, anyone could consider this a fail because I didn't make a lot of money. I maybe made like, I made 4 sales that day. I only made 4 sales and I spent so much time making clothes. And it's very easy to sit there and be defeated and be like, oh my god, like I spent all. And in the past, if I would have done this a year ago, I absolutely would have been so defeated that I would have been like, this is just not worth it. But now I'm literally like, no, like I sat there for maybe there was a good hour that I just sat there and nobody came to my booth. There was nobody who walked by, nobody who even looked at my stuff, and it can kind of get to your ego sometimes. And a lot of times I was just sitting there and being like, that's okay, like that's not a reflection of my work, or someone not acknowledging how hard I worked on something does not negate how hard the work was. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I really try to remain very positive, and even now, like, I'm not ever going to look back and be like, oh, that was a fail, or oh well, like, I'm just not gonna approach it like that, because there's always something you can learn and there's always something you can do in those types of situations. One of the things I did was I took pictures of my vendor booth. I got some marketing stuff, like some pictures taken, and got some videos taken so I can use for social media, I can use for other applications. So that actually is really nice because I'm able to repurpose some of the content that I took. Another thing that I took the time to do was I took product pictures outside. I got some really cute videos of some of the products that I have. And another thing that I also did was when it started to pick up at some point, at some point where I had a couple people coming to my booth and just asking me questions and stuff. But I made sure that I talked to everybody. I answered any questions they had. I explained to them, like, oh, I made this like this. You have to hype up your products. You have to hype yourself up, and you have to be like, yeah, it's so cool. Like, I made this, like, make it doing this. Another thing I took note of was I had my notes app open, and I was just like taking notes of things that people would say, like, or I took note of things that people really liked, products that I felt like, oh, these people really like these kinds of products, or this audience really liked this product, or I got a lot of compliments on, like, for example, I got a lot of compliments on my micro short and tube top set, which is so cute. I'm so glad because that's like my favorite set. But it was really nice to be able to hear compliments and to hear people being like, oh, I really like this thing and I would purchase from you. I also got a good amount of follows that day, so just because you don't make a sale, it does not mean that it was a fail. Like, yes, it would have been nice to make more money, absolutely, but I also took this opportunity to talk to people, to promote myself, to get more out of my comfort zone, and being able to be like, hell yeah, like, I made this shit and you like it, like, you know what I mean? So it was a good experience overall. I absolutely would do it again. I have another vendor market coming up in about like 2 weeks, so I'm excited for that, and I'm glad that I didn't sell a lot of products because I'm not going to be stressing to make a whole bunch of inventory right now. I'm a little bit more calm, and I can like make inventory at a little bit more of a calmer pace. That is all that I have for this portion of the video, and I think for the video, actually, I am so glad to be here. I am so grateful to be here. I am very, very thankful for this experience, to be able to share my art with people. That is all I've ever wanted to do, and to be doing it is a great thing. So yeah, I will catch you later. I have some more very exciting content coming up. I have some fashion show prep for Austin Fashion Week coming up. I can finally announce it because they gave me confirmation that I can like announce it. So I will be in Austin Fashion Week on May 10th. So I am so freaking excited. I'm already working on that collection. So yeah. Another thing that I have to say is to just keep working on your goals, your dreams, and just keep working on things you want to work on. Like there's nothing, like I don't know, there's nothing more fulfilling than watching your vision come to life, and that is just something I'm so grateful for. And this is like literally just the beginning. Like I just can't wait, and I hope you have a blessed day, a blessed night whenever you're watching this. And yeah, I will catch you later. Bye.